What's good, family? Jay the Black here. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in. Make sure you like this video. If you're new here, subscribe. We're going to talk about Skylar Diggins. The last time I talked about Skylar Diggins, WNBA player, was when she had her divorce. And everything seemingly has gone downhill ever since due to some recent news. She put out a video a little under a week ago, I believe, talking about how she was benched. She was benched by the Chicago Sky after going there and believing that she would be one of the main options. And it doesn't seem to be the case now. You know, Skylar Diggins has been through a lot since the birth of her first child back in 2019. She dealt with WNBA teams that did not want to help her, according to her. One team in particular, I believe it's the Dallas Wings. She talked about how she played the whole 2018 season while pregnant and didn't feel like they adequately took care of her, right? Then she goes to the Phoenix Mercury and she sits out the 2023 season because she basically felt that the organization did not, again, adequately help. So let's get into the issue she had in Phoenix. Let's go back a little bit, right? Even before she announced her separation. Back when she was at the Phoenix Mercury, apparently she revealed, after she had left, that the Mercury tried to trade her because of a locker room conflict with the star player on the team. You can guess who that star player is. She also had maternity leave issues. During her second pregnancy, Diggins alleged that the franchise cut her off from resources, denied her use of the practice facility, and even barred her from parking in the team lot. It's almost as if they're punishing her for having children. You know, Derica Hamby went through the same thing. I actually made a video on that from a couple of years ago. She felt like the team that she was on really did not show her any type of respect or really tried to help her when she was pregnant. And again, they have these WNBA is accused of being very lesbian, right? And when you see things like this, you would think a league full of women that's basically ran by women. You have a figurehead commissioner who is just sitting there collecting a check and not really doing anything to progress the league. She takes her orders from Adam Silver for the most part. She's just there as a figurehead because obviously she makes no impact whatsoever. Doesn't seem like she gets any respect from these players. So when you look at what's going on, you have two women who, for two different situations, who were pregnant and felt like the organization pushed them away. What does that tell you? It lets you know that there's something going on there, that they have an issue when women getting pregnant. Now, people might say, well, she's a player. She has to focus on playing, right? And hold off on having the children. Well, women, when they're married, like she was at the time, they're going to have children. They're going to have children. You're not men. It ain't a situation where a man can play and have children with his wife is, getting pregnant and carrying the child and has the child. He still is able to play. He may miss a game due to the birth or whatnot, but he's going to be there. But the thing is, when women want to play basketball, that's just the nature of things. There are women who are going to get pregnant. That's just what's going to happen. You are the WNBA. Women are going to get pregnant. But anyway, I think that those two situations, the situation in Dallas when she got pregnant and felt like they did not do enough for her. Then you had another situation in Phoenix where she went through some things. She probably didn't even tell everything, right? I think that probably really did a number on her mentally. She even discussed it when she ended up on the Seattle Storm, and she talked about how she had a lot of social anxiety issues, and that also could have contributed to the fact of her divorce, right? Because she said that she was separated in 2025, but it could have been before that. And maybe she just is really stressed about what's going on with these teams and not really feeling like she gets the respect that she feels like she deserves. Now, let's go to the Chicago Sky. Right? In June of 2026, she openly called out her team for a loser mentality and criticized inadequate player resources after a string of lopsided losses once again. So she is constantly criticizing these teams for not having the resources. I think Skylar has to understand it's the WNBA. You're not making a lot of money. You're still subsidized by the NBA. You do have a marketable star in Caitlin Clark, but the league refuses to promote her. As a matter of fact, they do everything to slow and shut down her momentum. She should be one of the I'm not saying the number one face, but she should be one of the faces because she has a fan base who's willing to pay. But again, when you're ran by an idiot who's just a figurehead who is in a league full of women who may not like Caitlin Clark, this is the outcome. And this is why I think Adam Silver needs to cut the WNBA loose until they figure out how to run their league properly, instead of sitting up there relying on begging and relying on subsidizing. You need to be promoting your stars, and you're not doing it, especially the right stars. Now, in July of 2026, she was benched by the Chicago Sky head coach Tyler Marsh in favor of Courtney Vandersloot. And Diggins went public with her frustration on social media, expressing shock at the sudden demotion and pointing out that Sky continually failed to provide the basic infrastructure players need to succeed. She was subsequently sidelined with a right knee injury. Now, she was benched, and she knows she was benched, and she's continuing to call out the resources. Again, Skylar, your league does nothing to promote itself. All they do is beg and look for sympathy instead of pushing their stars. WNBA players should be in all types of commercials. They should have all types of promotional opportunities, but they don't do it because, again, the league is ran by an idiot, right? But in Skylar Diggins' case, Skylar Diggins, I think she's dealing with, again, this is my opinion, I have no proof, I think she might be highly depressed. I think postpartum depression, probably she's been dealing with this since she had her second child. She went through a divorce, but she continues to call out these organizations that she goes to. It's like no matter where she goes, she's unhappy. And then she has problems to where it just seemed like the Chicago Sky coach is done with her. Once you bench somebody like Skylar Diggins with an 11-year career, you're done with them. And it looks like he's done with her, right? And it's a shame because when I remember all the hype that Skylar Diggins got when she went into the WNBA. No, right before, when she was still at Notre Dame. Y'all remember that Skylar Diggins hype? She was like the hype that Juju Watkins gets. Skylar Diggins was getting that same hype. And the thing is that at the time, the WNBA still was at a worse state than it is now. And she had to go through that. And you can tell it's done a number on her because she, like a lot of these WNBA players, they look at what's going on in the NBA and they want that. But the NBA players actually make money. They actually promote their stars. This is why, again, Adam Silver, he could have the Kathy Heffer. He could fire her if he wanted to. He could say, I don't want her being the commissioner of WNBA. Let's get her out of here. Let's get somebody in there who is a capitalist and that's going to go make that money instead of putting some figurehead there just for the sake of saying this is a woman, is a female commissioner. I'm stuttering a little bit, who's running the WNBA. Instead of focusing on those things that you really don't need to focus on, why don't you go and get the best person for the job that's going to have the best interest of the league as far as making money and not begging. I still remember a couple of years ago when there was this, I think it might have been Lisa Leslie. She was talking to Draymond Green, and I think she mentioned how NBA players should give their hard-earned money to the WNBA. And I'm like, it might have been her. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they had that discussion, and she says something like that. I made a video, and I'm like, what are you talking about? They don't have to give y'all nothing. What are you saying here? Promote your stars. And the thing is, Skylar Diggins should have been the face, for the most part, and promoted. But when you have a league ran by idiots, it's just not going to be the case. And I think that she's grown more and more bitter. And again, I have nothing against Skylar Diggins, but it seems like she's grown more and more bitter and grumpy. Right? She's a grumpy veteran, right? And she's not fitting in anywhere. No matter where she goes, she's going to have a problem. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully for her sake, hopefully she still has a passion for playing, because maybe the passion isn't there, but she's pushing herself to sort of have passion that just isn't there anymore. That could be the case. I think she should. Hopefully she's getting therapy, because I believe she's dealing with postpartum. Because the fact that she's running into these problems with two different organizations who treat her a certain way. But again, I understand, because these organizations think that they are men, and they think that they can do what men do. They can play for months and not miss any games unless it's an injury. But you have to understand, there are women who are screwing men who play in the WNBA. There are women who are in relationships and married to men, and they're going to have children. And that's just it. You're not men. You're a league full of women. And you don't promote your stars. You're losing money constantly. People are not going to the games like that. You got to figure that out, because You know, women like Skylar Diggins, they want better, but it's not going to happen in their lifetime because of how the league is ran. And I feel like she's dealing with still the mental effects of how she was treated when she was pregnant. People understand that does damage to people, especially women, when they're treated a certain way while pregnant. You know, Diarica, a Hamby went through that, right? She went through her issues. Let me know in the comment section below. Swoop to everyone that's tuning in. Make sure y'all like the video. If you're new, subscribe. Check out all the videos on the channel. I'll see y'all next one.